Are you an only child?
I am. No, it's my sister. I thought it was asking if I had a twin.
If I was on a date, I'd want that person to like show all their cards first. And I do understand what you're saying. So maybe I agree with you. So Mary and Jen,
Yes.
does driving a cool car make you hotter?
So I already know the answer in my mind to this.
That's usually how answers start.
Yeah. Well, for me at least.
Okay, do you have your answer in
I
your
do.
mind?
I definitely do.
Well, that's what we are talking about on today's episode of Car-ish. Jen and I are the car.
Mary is the ish.
So we've done this video a couple times now at the TFL Car channel, but I feel like we need to talk about the thought process behind can you attract a living mate? That's the wrong
as
word.
opposed to a dead one.
Yeah, we're talking about live.
Can you attract a partner with a cool car? Jen, proceed.
I think no. I think attractiveness really comes down to being funny and confident. So if you are kind, funny, and confident, and you drive a total terrible old car, that makes no difference to me.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. But also, I feel like you said, like, if you have a cool car.
Yeah,
Please
that's right.
define cool for me.
Okay, so, well, clearly I'm not the one to define
That's
cool.
okay. I took notes.
Tommy's not going to know what cool means.
Cool, as described by Merriam Dictionary,
What a nerd.
is... Okay, it's not really a definition. It's just a bunch of synonyms. Excellent, fashionable, hip, fresh, sharp, and tasteful.
Now, I think you bring up a good point with your stupid dictionary definition.
Thank you.
And that cool is very much a subjective concept, right?
Absolutely.
So when we initially did this video, it was like the top 10 cars to attract women. And I put cars that I thought were cool, which is a mistake because clearly I don't know. I don't know nothing.
Definitely.
But more importantly, I thought of cars that I thought women would think would be cool.
Right.
Like a Mini Cooper
Right.
or a Fiat 500.
But you
Well-
own Mini Coopers, right? And you own a Fiat 500.
No, here's the difference. You did not pick cool cars. No, you did not pick cars that you thought women would think that you're cool. Let me start
We're
over.
getting there.
You picked cars that you thought women might want to own.
Oh.
Not that women would be attracted to in a potential partner.
Because I'm totally not attracted to these cars.
I hope not.
No, I think you think like a woman sometimes.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm mostly there, let's be honest. According to the comments, at least.
But you know what? You're married to a beautiful woman who is way smarter than all of us.
That's true. And the crazy thing is
True, damn.
I was very confident that these cars would genuinely, I
The little
thought,
bug-eyed Sprite, you thought the bug-eyed Sprite was going to make it far in the rankings.
if you pulled up to a date and the guy zoomed in a bug-eyed Sprite, you're telling me you wouldn't look at that guy and be like, that guy is A, not going to murder me, B, has a great personality, and C, clearly doesn't take life too seriously. Like, that says a lot about a person.
That's true, but I would also have more questions than answers.
Like, what are your questions?
My questions would be like, where did you get that? What's your relationship like with your mom?
For why?
Do you have another one for the other foot?
Yeah. Where am I going to sit?
No.
Those would be my main questions, I think.
So I think we're all in agreement that, like, if I'm a guy and I make my car my whole personality, that is not an attractive look.
Correct.
But can a car be a cherry on top of a potential partner? So imagine two identical guys. One
Are they
drives
twins?
Sure. I don't know how twins
That's what
work.
identical is, right?
Or are they like in alternate universes? Like one exists in like Mars and the other one.
Well, identical twins, same brain or different brains?
They have different brains.
Okay.
Wow. You're getting
know
a
much
science
about
lesson
twins.
today.
Are you an only child?
I am. No, it's my sister. I thought it was asking if I had a twin. Sorry, Melissa. No, I am not an only child.
So quick. I am.
Completely forgot about my entire sister.
And I looked at her. I was like, how many stories have I heard about your sister? And she goes, no.
They're all lies, Mary. I made her up.
I'm not gonna lie. Being an only child, let me make sure I am. Yes, I am. I don't have a good perception of what it's like having a sibling. So in my mind, my small brain, identical twins have very similar personalities. Is that an incorrect
That is
thought?
incorrect.
Okay.
Do you know any twins in real life?
Unfortunately, I do not.
Yes, you do.
Who do I know?
Dexter's a twin.
Well, oh.
My boyfriend is a twin.
Really?
Yes.
Did not know that.
Interesting.
Fraternal. So they're not very alike, the two of them.
Like from like a fraternity.
No.
Okay.
It's the opposite of identical, where it's like they don't look alike.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
It's not like you're like a brother in a fraternity and you're so close you're fraternal. You're identical brothers.
No, but I would love it if you would join a fraternity and start calling them your fraternal brothers.
Fraternal brothers.
Which is actually probably pretty accurate. I mean,
Yeah.
it is. It's like a similar root in the word. Anyway,
So I'm imagining, okay, let's do the alternate universe thing. So two identical guys. One guy pulls up in like a beat up old Accord that's got beach.
that's a Honda.
It's a Honda. It's got beach balls in the back from unused vacations. It's got a random microphone. Do you feel picked on, man?
Yes. I don't drive a Honda Accord.
Well, I didn't want to get too personal.
I do have beach balls.
No, okay. All kidding aside, it's like a worn down car, and the other one pulls up in a like a new Mercedes. Would you, in these two equally existing universes, be more likely to date the person in a Mercedes because that comes with like preconceived notions that they're probably more successful, right? Maybe it's a clean new car. So what do you
How
think?
old are these people?
We're talking our age.
Like mid 20s?
Yes.
Late 20s?
Late 20s
Your
for some of
age.
us. Jen,
Mid
Guys,
to late
I'm old,
20s.
I know.
what do you think?
I feel like I would be more inclined to trust the person with a beat up car, because if somebody like rolls up who's clearly outside of my tax bracket, I feel not like disinclined to talk to them, but definitely a little like, I don't know if we have a lot in common.
Interesting.
You know, so like I think if somebody comes up with a car that they've clearly used a lot, like if it's a utility thing, we might relate more because I don't like. Yeah, you could roll up in like a GLS 600 Maybach, but I don't care. I want to know if you're fun. Do you go on adventures? Do you care if your car gets a little beat up on a beach? Does like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Is there a limit? Like,
Yes,
so, okay,
I would
so
say
at
so.
what point does the car go from worn to dilapidated?
When it looks like they're living out of it.
Okay, Jen.
Honestly, I feel like the inside of a car is a lot better like indication of what kind of a person you're dealing with than the outside of the car.
The contents. See, in my mind, if someone rolled up in like a mint 1984 Camry, but it's an 84, right? I'd be like, dang, you maintained this thing.
It's got like
You
250 on it.
actually you actually cared about this car, and it shows me that you're responsible. And that to me sounds like someone that I would actually trust and be a little more open to than just someone that went and bought whatever expensive car they wanted to show
or
off
used
with.
daddy's money.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Gross.
So what you're looking for is a guy pulls up in a car. You're not looking at the car. You go up and be like, nice car. Let's see the stack of receipts to prove you've maintained this.
No,
Pull out the oil dipstick. Let's see how clean this is.
Honestly, can I be so honest right now?
Yeah, for sure.
Before I started working here, I don't think I would have looked at his car even more than once. Like, I would have been like, I literally wouldn't have been like, oh, you drive a Toyota. It would have just been like, that's your car. I will now commit it to memory in case we lose it in the parking lot.
Hey, you have a car. Cool.
Yeah. But I do think that there is a level of like responsibility and initiative that comes with maintaining a car. So it is like an attractive quality if somebody has a well-functioning car, but it doesn't have to be like perfect. It doesn't have to be new. Most of all, it doesn't have to be new.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what about the flip side of that? So we've already established that the car is not going to maybe attract you guys, but what about repel? Is there a car that would give you an ick? If like a guy
Yes.
pulled up an X,
Um,
you have to say it, Jen.
Just try.
yes, there is.
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, no.
I don't have a sister.
So sorry, Melissa. Yeah, there is. And that may not be fair for the exact same reason as judging someone for what car they drive, but
Can I guess?
what it is.
Yeah.
Sure.
Is it a Tesla?
Might be one of them. Which I
Oh,
feel,
you have multiple.
well, yeah.
So a Tesla for sure.
But I mean, I feel like I'm just traumatized from Tesla owners.
Fair enough.
Listen, here's the thing. Jen is being very diplomatic because she's a good person. If a guy pulled up to a date with me in a Tesla, I'd first of all say, I'm sorry I'm not gay.
So
Wait, you made it to the date to tell him that?
well, he wanted to. In person, Mary, he's kind.
I'm not going to do that over text.
You're like, I gotta see what
that's
car he drives first,
rude.
and then I'll decide if I'm gay.
It's a very logical
If
thing.
he's driving that, maybe.
Listen, a guy shows up in a
You
Pagani.
show up in your bug-eyed Sprite, and he's like, I got this on lock.
Okay, if a girl pulls up to a date in a Cybertruck, the problem is I've immediately made so many value judgments about that person.
Yeah.
And maybe that's wrong, but it's hard not to make those value judgments, right? So I do think that opposite can happen where like a car is more likely to repel someone than like actually be an attractor.
That's a really good distinction.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I think for me it would be like a like Case's truck.
Oh, shots fired.
Just already ready to go.
That's actually not that bad.
a handsome truck.
It's a handsome truck.
It's a handsome truck.
Unlike Case's truck, which is not.
I thought you were saying unlike Case.
Oh, poor Case.
No, that's not that bad. But I do think lifted trucks with like obscenely large tires would probably make me feel queasy.
Why?
I would just feel like I was in danger a little. I think I actually did. I did a lot of research on trucks. I know a lot of history about trucks because I did a little history thing on the Ford Maverick.
Yes.
But basically, I think big trucks stem from like wanting to feel powerful, wanting to feel like you're capable, like having the capability to do things if you want to do those things, even if you're not doing them every day. If you want to tow 10,000 pounds, you can. Are you going to every day? Probably not. But truck drivers are also really cocky and mean. And sometimes they're associated with not very friendly people. Not all of them. Of course.
I love that Case is in the room as this is happening.
I'm so sorry, Case. You're a gem of a
I'm
human.
loving this.
But because Case is a nice human, like he gets a pass.
So, Mary, you're saying a lot of things.
Yeah.
Which is true, but you're also making me grumpy.
Okay.
Because I would argue my bug-eyed Sprite represents the opposite of that.
Yeah.
You know? So you should find that attractive. Because it's not someone who's trying to like drive a big truck for the sake of driving a big truck. It's a small vehicle that's taking
Tommy,
a
The
little space.
opposite of trying to compensate for
That's
something.
right.
I want to ask if you know of something called a happy medium.
I'm unaware.
Because that's kind of what I'm looking for.
Now,
I don't need crazy big trucks and I don't need teeny tiny lollipop bugs. I would like something in the middle.
so you like, and one of the things that I thought was interesting that we did this video where like what car would attract you, and one of the things that came up consistently was an old like 1970s truck.
Right.
Is that a happy medium?
Yes.
Well, for looks, yes.
Okay.
But I mean, if that's your daily driver, you're going to be clunking all over the place. So maybe not for like general daily life.
Okay.
See, for me, total win.
Total win.
Total win.
I think
If you
you're
got like a 72 C10, I'm in.
okay.
Not, I mean, all the way, because I need to know if you're like a psycho or not first.
Even
But-
if it's like touching the
like,
ground.
well, actually, yeah, you know,
Really? You like
when
that
they're
look?
when they're
Like that
backed,
blue
they're-
one? Look
yeah,
at
that
that one.
blue
That
one.
one
Yes,
is just
absolutely.
That's
slammed.
a stingray.
It's slammed, but
like
it's
it's on the bottom of the ocean.
awesome. But like 72 C10 is like a dream truck of mine. But that also goes back to like if someone rolled up in a mint 84 Camry. You know, if you have an old truck like this, like it takes up a lot of maintenance, especially if it looks good. Like there's a lot of thought that has to go into keeping
That
up
comes
something
back
like
to the
that.
maintenance and like the responsibility and initiative that it takes to maintain a nice
Jen,
car.
I have to ask, is like the one that got away, did he have a 84 Camry? Because
He just keeps going back.
No, not at all.
I also think like a little Toyota Camry would be fine.
so you really don't care.
I'd care if you're like a cocky jerk. And if your whole personality is your car, we're not going to get along.
Yeah, agreed.
But if you take care of your car and you like taking care of your car and you're, you know, you have creativity and passion and individuality, sure.
See, here's the thing. Let's say you roll up to a date and they come out with like an SLS AMG, right? And
That's a very fast car for
very
Mary.
Thank
fast,
you.
Mercedes.
powerful. Yeah,
Very
it's
expensive Mercedes.
expensive
Of
Mercedes.
Course, of course.
And you might think that they're probably just going to only want to talk about the car the whole time.
Right.
But let's
or,
say
or you feel like you need to talk about the car the
Yeah,
whole time.
but let's say you go on a couple dates with them. They never mention it. And then on like the fourth or fifth date, they pick you up. You're like, and they're like, oh yeah, this is just, you know, a fun car that I have.
Yeah,
that's a little different, right?
I'd be into that.
Yeah, that's a little, because they're not
100%.
making their whole personality about a specific car.
I
like that.
And it's just kind of a little side thing.
That's really true.
Do you know about this trend online now about these guys? And I see it a lot. It's only men. That's important to say. But on TikTok, who are like, they have like a little beat up like Camry in their driveway. And then the TikTok caption will be like, you can't pull up with the nice car on the first date. Which is implying that like, you don't want to show a woman all your cards. So you show up in a beat up car and then you have like a really expensive Nissan GTR in the garage.
Yeah. No,
What's your opinion on that?
I kind of agree with that because
do?
Yeah, because there's a lot of gold digger women out there. And so also to protect the men, you know, on their side of things, they want to make sure that the woman is genuine, just in the same way that a woman wants to make sure that a man is genuine.
Do you think
or whatever partner they have.
Do you think showing up in your non-real car is genuine?
No, but I think it allows them to focus more on your personality rather than what kind of things you have.
Yeah, that's fair. I think
if Mary ever has that exact tone of voice, it means she's
Lying
strongly
liar.
disagrees.
I pitched
Went
like
up
lawyer voice.
way so many octaves.
That's fair. I feel weird about that situation.
I also feel a little weird about it.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. To make you feel less weird, usually that beat up little car is a car they own.
All right.
It's not like they're not renting one from Hertz.
Okay.
But I also feel like if I was on a date, I'd want that person to like show all their cards first. And I do understand what you're saying. So maybe I agree with you.
Yeah.
Huh.
See, it'd be really
point.
weird if someone like went to Hertz and rented a fast car.
Yeah,
And
that
then
is also common.
That's a big red flag to me.
I don't like
But
that.
if someone showed up in like a little beater and then I thought nothing about it, and then that allowed me to really get to know that person, and then they, you know, brought out their fun car or whatever, that's just like a cherry on top.
Interesting.
I don't know.
It's an interesting conversation.
I guess it is. I think maybe what's like makes me uneasy about it is the fact that they're like posting about it, like they're filming it and like trying to frame these people.
Oh, you're
maybe.
thinking of the actual short that's posted.
Yeah, I'm thinking because like you're experiencing it as you're going. How do I put this? You're just watching it as if something that happened, but people like filmed that. They came up with it, and then they filmed the date and they filmed their reactions. So it feels also like it feels really premeditated for one.
Okay, well, take the TikTok, take the short out of it.
Okay,
Let's say you just went on a date and
Just
that's what
the
happened.
act. Yeah.
No one's filming
so
it. It's
I'm
not
gonna say
premeditated.
my buddy Cameron
Sure.
is like, I have a really nice car, but I think I'm gonna drive my lesser nice car to the date with his girl tonight.
His daily. You know, he's got a sports car and a daily.
Yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
like, that's a good call. Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And now, what date do you show?
When do you show those cards?
It's like date 4.
Date 4.
Yeah, I'd say date 4. You know, give them...
Is that when things get interesting? She was ready.
Listen.
That was a loaded answer.
Listen.
Date 4.
Yeah. It's just like, not even like a second of thought. Just 4.
4.
I'd say date 4.
It's the 4th date.
That's interesting. I have not heard of that trend.
Now, would you feel weirder if the guy had 2 houses, like a little apartment in the city and then a huge mansion, and he only showed you the little apartment first?
When does it stop like being a lie?
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah.
Date 4.
Date 4.
So basically, what we've learned here,
Date 4 is when you go to therapy together.
you lie your ass off for the first 3 dates, and then you have to show your real card at date 4.
I don't think it's necessarily lying. It's just not bragging. You
But
know?
it's also withholding. Do you believe in lying by omission?
I understand where you're going with this, but what I'm so terrified of is people not being genuine off the bat and trying to brag about things in order to cover up maybe what they think might be shortcomings of their own personality.
So that's insecurity.
Yeah. So I just want to meet someone for who they are. Like I'd rather not even know what car they drive.
But what
on
if
the
who
first
they
date.
are is the fancy sports car and they're holding that back from you on the first date to see if you're a gold digger or not?
Well, that's not who they are then. If they have another car, if who they were was the fancy sports car, then that's what they would have brought first date, and they would have been like, let's go for a ride, and you want to know how much this costs, and blah blah blah.
But it also feels like they're trying to play you.
No,
instead
I think
of trusting you to be genuine.
because you don't know anybody at the first date.
Yeah. Well, theoretically, hopefully, you've been talking a little bit before the first date.
I showed up to a date with a guy on accident, apparently, in the Cybertruck, dude.
Mr. Cybertruck and Mr. Bug-Eyed Sprite. An unlikely pairing.
An unlikely pairing. No, I think what we should do is leave it up to the comments.
Oh, yeah.
I think that this is a really interesting conversation.
Yeah.
But I do, Mary, I want to show you something very cool. I'm going to airdrop this to you, Case. Mary, Jen, and I just went on an adventure. Okay? It was very exciting. We bought a car with 542,000 miles.
That shouldn't be possible, right?
Crazy, right? That's a lot of miles.
That's a lot of miles.
So for reference, if you were to drive from here to the moon and back, each way is 238,000 miles. So this car has been to the moon and back more than once, not quite twice. But it's been around the world 20 times. That's a lot of miles.
That's a lot of miles.
Uh-huh. I think that's pretty cool. Case is about to show my insurance card.
He's working on it. Give him a second.
I'm sure
There it is.
it's just a computer.
Let's see it. Definitely not a user error.
So if
That's the car?
a guy showed up on a date in that car,
I literally,
don't care.
I literally don't care. I might notice the Mercedes badge because before I started working here, I knew that, like, what's that called? Logo?
the emblem,
The emblem?
hood ornament.
The hood ornaments?
Did you know that was the
No. Did you know that for a long time I didn't know it was ornaments? I thought it was ordaments.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, I thought it was a D instead of an N.
Do you know why hood ornaments went away?
Because people were stealing them? Or
That-
because it was a safety issue?
Safety issue. People were getting impaled. by
Yeah, that
hood
makes
ornaments.
sense.
From like, what?
Like if you're a pedestrian and you get hit by a car, you would end up with a Mercedes star literally in your esophagus.
Oh my gosh.
So that's why they went away.
It's not great.
I was imagining people like falling from an apartment building onto the hood
All
of
the
the car.
people that are falling on a car.
I think the hood emblem is probably the least of their worries.
Good point.
The fall is
Touche,
probably
Jen.
But this car is an interesting one because if I showed up on a date, Mary wouldn't think twice on it. But then if I told her it's 540,000 miles, she'd probably be like, wow, this is a man that takes care of his car.
That's
No,
exactly how I would
no,
feel.
but again-
I would be stoked if someone rolled up in a car like that.
I think my first question would be like, how much longer are you planning on holding on to this one?
Like, I'm not riding in it, so I need to know.
No, I just need to know, like, are you planning on going another 2K? What's your
How cool would that be, though?
another 20K? Like, what's your plan here?
If I owned that car as my only car, it would be hard not to try to get it to 1,000,000 miles.
Yes.
Tommy, I have a proposition.
You have a proposition.
My car right now,
Uh-huh.
I told this to Jen and Case last week, has 180,000 miles on it.
Okay. Not even to the moon one way.
My goal by the end of this year is to get to the moon.
Is to get it to the moon?
Yeah.
230?
Like Elon, you're going to put it on a rocket?
God, no. Listen, no, I actually don't. My
You're
goal.
going to try to get it to 230? Buddy?
I'm rescinding everything I just said. I want to put as few miles on that as possible, but I also do want to take care of it.
Okay.
So, but I just think it'd be fun if I just held on to that car for as long as she
So,
can
like,
hold on.
what's your goal? I sometimes think about this. Like, what's your goal mileage? Ian's big into this. Our videographer Ian's like, this car I need to last 113,000 miles. I'm like, how'd you get that number? And he's usually like, it just needs to.
That sounds about right.
But what is your goal number?
I don't have a goal number. I just don't ever want it to die. I want it to live forever.
Now, what if something really expensive broke? Like, what's the threshold where you're like, okay, I'm not going to put this. That's what always kills
Yeah.
cars.
That's actually
It's like a
good question.
$4,000 repair bill.
Oh, Lordy.
And she had a reaction as if she was just handed the bill.
She's really feeling that one, Jen.
Oh, it's guttural.
Yeah, that one hurt. Well, what's something like if you were a mechanic, and what's something that
Let's
you
say,
would like what's broken?
The transmission.
yeah, I
went
was
out.
thinking transmission.
It's going to be $2,500.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's a very real thing.
What causes a transmission to go out? Just rotten
age.
luck.
Yeah, just old.
I probably wouldn't pay more than like $2,000.
And then you would have to just let her go into the abyss.
Well, then
to
I'd have to
Montana.
get a new car, which would be a whole different
It is.
issue. Good thing is I work here, so I
got a lot of
I
cars.
could at least rent for a while.
I've got a medium miles Mercedes that would be perfect for you.
Perfect.
Mary.
Does it have the hood emblem? Or
It
the
does.
Hood and bedazzlers, I was called?
It's also interesting. It has so many rock chips on the front. Do you see that?
I love what you said about it earlier.
Yeah, it looks like it's like a 5 o'clock shadow. All those little like brown bits, those aren't bugs. That's rust.
Oh, I thought it was blood.
Oh, God.
I thought it had like
Guys
run over
just mowing
so
people
many
down.
people. It's from like Saw.
Mary's like, well, if I average 2 per people every 100,000 miles, I run over.
I like how you just thought it was blood but never said anything.
Yeah, I just thought, well, that's a lot of miles to go through. A lot of things can
Found it-
happen in
found it
five
a
A lot of
miles.
pedestrians that have died.
That's crazy.
terrible.
No, yeah, that car is impressive.
It's a wagon.
It is a wagon, station wagon.
like Oregon Trail.
Yes, like Oregon Trail. And the trunk, this is the coolest feature.
The best.
The best feature. Okay, so you know how like your car has a trunk. Underneath the floor pops up another seat, but unlike a Suburban where it faces forward, it faces backwards.
Oh my God. Like a spaceship.
That's it.
You go,
That's the one.
oh, that's kind of cool.
Isn't that sweet?
It reminds me of trains.
Yes, but this is such a good feature because it stows away when you don't need it. But then if you've got like 2 other people you need to move, you stick them in the trunk. It's legal. It has seatbelts.
That's awesome.
I wouldn't want. This would be a really bad place to be rear-ended. Like
Yes.
you could actively see
yeah.
your death coming.
Pretty sure that's why they don't do this.
I think you're right, Jen.
That's what that is what they mean when they say I looked death in the eye.
That's it.
They were sitting in the back
They were sitting in the back of that
a
Mercedes
wagon,
Benz,
yeah.
You know what's another car that did that, Jen? The Model S.
I was going to tell you, the earlier Model S's had
like the plaid.
no, but that is
A Model S.
Model S. In the earlier versions, they had a 7-seater option, the jump
way.
seats. Yeah, incredibly unsafe.
That actually does look like a rocket ship. That looks like a roller
It
coaster.
does. It has like shoulder harnesses and it's very much made for children.
Yeah,
That was not good.
No.
But the Mercedes one is pretty cool.
why they
That's
don't make them
awesome.
anymore.
Would you like that as a kid though?
Yeah. Oh my God. I'd be obsessed with that as a kid.
Well, I remember as a kid, one of my neighbors had, I forgot what it was, but it was an old wood panel station wagon that had the third row seats
Yeah,
like
that was
that.
big in like the 70s.
And that was so cool. to
Whose
ride
idea was
around
it to
in.
put wood on a car?
So in the 1970s, there were a lot of drugs.
I see where this is going.
My least favorite piece of car design. You're really going to get a kick out of this. Let's see if Case can guess it. It's called, nope, it's called the Landau top. This was a terrible design. Landau. And then top. Look up like, yeah, that's fine. On like a Lincoln or Cadillac. So what this is they did that, do that red Lincoln, that one.
yeah. No, I hate this. It looks like it has a receding hairline.
So they put
Yeah, it does.
they put padded vinyl on the back portion of the roof to make it look like I don't know, or like a convertible.
What?
Like what
It
is
looks
this supposed to
stupid.
look like?
Yeah, what was the
For why?
thought process?
There's
Just the
another
fact
one.
that's totally a receding
Yeah,
hairline.
that was a really big deal, like in the 70s. Landau
Yeah.
tops.
I've seen those before, and I've never really thought twice about them.
And a wood paneling. A wood paneling is like a throwback to the 1940s. Have you ever heard of a Woody?
Yeah.
Like the doll,
Nope.
Woody and
Are you talking
Buzz.
about Jeep?
No, she's talking about Toy Story.
Well, no, not you. But when I think of a Woody, I think of old Jeeps.
This is what I mean.
But yeah,
what could
yeah,
possibly be
this.
more flammable?
We should put that next to the gas tank.
A detail requires some lacquer.
So this was like a really big thing back in like the 30s is these Woody station wagons, for example, where the back portion of the car is made out of like a high quality wood. This would be a good thing for you to get into, Jen.
Yeah, you could make one of those.
Imagine cutting the back off a Cybertruck and then making it out of wood.
That would turn some heads.
Couldn't get any
It would.
worse, could it?
You would be left with a lot of questions about the driver of that.
Yes, I
vehicle.
would. And speaking of drivers, Mary,
Yes.
I wanted to talk to you guys about what makes a good versus bad driver. What are like specific things where you're
Oh,
like in
wow.
a car with someone and you're like, this person's a good driver
Like, what are you doing?
or a bad driver?
I think good driving is a lot like good videography. You don't notice it when it's happening.
Ah, that's beautiful.
good.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah. So if it's bad driving, you are aware you're in a car and you feel the road and you feel the turns.
You're grabbing the oh shit bar on the side.
for sure, for sure.
Okay, so like, what's like the worst trait a bad driver could have? Tailgating? Is it stopping too hard? Is it too aggressive? What are some things that you're like, oof, this is really bad.
Distracted driving for me.
Good one.
That's
Good
good.
one.
Yeah.
When somebody's like their phone is constantly in their other hand or in both hands. I've seen people have their phone. No. They're really busy people. No, I've seen someone like hold their phone, or no, I haven't seen this, but I've heard stories about somebody who like holds their phone with both hands texting and drives with both of their knees.
Do I know this person?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Don't look at me. It's not me.
Mary. Oh, this is Ryan.
No, it's not Ryan. No.
Ryan does some stupid stuff too.
No, Ryan's a great driver.
Ryan, so we have this friend Ryan. He is like the greatest person on the world.
He is.
But he has this thing where every time he gets into a car, before he even starts it, he's on the phone with someone.
Okay, that's different though. That's just because he's an extrovert.
Every time.
He just likes being on the phone.
Yes, but he can literally not drive anywhere without being on the phone.
Yeah, I don't think I've never seen him enter a room without being on the phone.
Wow. Do you think he's ever faking it?
No.
Really? No, you're right. That's
never.
that's
Definitely
not a
never.
surprise.
But no, I mean,
It's not distracted because he's like smart about it. He's
Yeah.
not like texting on the phone.
Yeah.
He just boop on the phone.
That's
Yeah.
so odd.
You know someone that
yeah,
texts
I'm not
going
going
to
to tell you. I'm not going to tell you who it is.
Oh, brutal.
But yeah, I think distracted driving for me is what makes me the most nervous.
I think aggressive driving.
Yeah, I hate when not so much just the tailgating, but people who brake too late.
Oh, good one.
That drives me nuts. I hate that.
Good one. How about this? We were talking about this in the car. One of my least, as a slow car enthusiast,
Yes.
one of my least favorite things is when there's a merge lane and then someone creeps through the merge lane and stops at the end of it.
What are you doing?
That happens.
That happens a lot. You never see that where like it's a merge lane onto like a divided highway and then they just like stop. They're like looking over their shoulder. They're like, all right, waiting for a gap. But as a slow car enthusiast, it might take me 24 seconds to get to 60 miles an hour.
You need all the space you can get.
Yeah, but that's
that
not really the driver in front's fault. That's just the fact that you drive a slow car.
Well, yeah, but they shouldn't. I mean, a merge lane, you're supposed to. The idea of a merge lane is there's not a stop sign, right? You use a merge lane to gather speed so you can zipper into traffic.
Yeah, but sometimes the merge lane ends like in a matter of 12 feet.
Well, then you got to be snappy.
No.
I think you do, or you stop well ahead of when the merge lane starts.
Yes.
You know, so
Yeah.
you
Almost
stop.
as if it is a stop sign,
like
and then
before
you.
you're actually on the highway.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I do agree. Sometimes they're really short, and I do have to do that. But for the most part, like the good thing about merge lanes is that they're supposed, like in Germany, the merge lanes are super short and the speeds are super high. But like people understand, like when you're getting on the highway, you get on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit the gas.
Hit the gas.
Hit the gas.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you go. I'm interested.
Something that drives me nuts that people do, and I think we'll get a lot of people that will fight me on this, and I will fight to the death on this.
Oh God, please don't
is when you get the whole sign that says like lane ends in a mile, and then everyone just decides to get over immediately there.
Oh, I agree.
Instead of now you've got a whole lane for a whole mile where you're supposed to take it to the end. That's why they say it ends here and then zipper at the end. And what ends up happening is this lane is now twice as long as it needs to be. And now people are just backed up instead of just using both lanes and doing a zipper like you're supposed to.
People don't
Drives
know how
me
to do
wild.
zippers, though.
Because people will like you'll take it to the lane all the way to the end like you're supposed to do. And then people will be like, you saw that sign a mile ago. I'm not letting you in. It's like, but that's how you're supposed
There's like this
to do
moral
it.
superiority.
Yeah.
And sometimes they take it farther where they block both lanes.
Yeah,
drives
what
me
is
wild.
that about?
That's
Drives me
crazy.
wild. What are you
insane.
doing? Zipper people.
I will speak on the behalf
Mary will not be silent.
Oh, Mary.
of people who get out of the lane as soon as they see the sign. Because I do feel like I might be one of those people sometimes.
Is it an anxiety thing?
Yeah, it's that I want to be like, if I know that the lane's gonna end, I just want to get it over with and I'm gonna get it out of the wrong lane. Like I feel the same way when I'm like I don't know where I'm going and somebody's giving me directions. Even if it's 5 miles later, I want to know if I need to be in the right or the left lane.
That's fair.
If I'm turning right in 5 miles, I'm gonna be in the right lane. Unless it's the highway and I'll pass and I'll, keep the speed and whatever and I'll keep the flow.
Keep the flow.
Mary's driving to LA and Vegas. She's like, all right, what's next? What's next?
No, to know what to do in an hour.
Give me so much anxiety.
We need 200 miles.
Yeah, seriously. So I can understand, I can sympathize with the people who get out of that lane, but I also understand that zippering is more efficient. But highways are not efficient.
Highways
Well,
are
we're not talking
quite
about
efficient.
highways.
What do you mean highways aren't efficient?
I mean have you ever seen those videos of how traffic happens? It's all man-made.
Yes, but your solution would be to put stoplights on the highway?
No, my solution is trains.
Okay.
Well,
if Case was in here, he'd probably call you a communist at this point.
No, I think trains are a great idea. They're just expensive.
Trains also don't work very well in this country.
No,
No,
the
that's
country's
true.
too
We're
vast.
too spread out.
No,
too
that's
vast.
true.
You're right. But in like Europe, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
I just wish it made sense.
I
I have a dream.
You have a dream.
I have a
It's
desire.
trains.
I have a wish. It's trains.
We have. The good news is trains blow. So I think just go.
It's just typed in trains blow.
You can take the trains here. We have Amtrak.
Yeah, what I want is, so you know how like,
This is the problem with train people. I'm sorry, Mary. I have a problem with you people.
first of all,
Train
I'm
people.
not a train person.
I always say we have trains, and then train people are like, you know what? This is what I want. Like, use the trains we have. Train people. Am
No,
I right?
I'm
It's
not-
true. I've used trains.
I use trains a lot. I lived in Spain and I used a
But
train
here,
everywhere.
do you use trains? You're talking about how you want trains here instead of highways. Do you use the trains that we have here?
No.
I like ganging up on Mary. This is great news.
Yeah, this is different. This feels weird on this side of the coin.
So what's your problem
Yeah.
with trains?
So my
That was good gaslighting, Tommy. Yeah, you have a problem with trains. What are they, Mary?
just wait. Hold on. My thing is that if we have major highways that run north to south everywhere and east to west across the country, why can't we do that with trains?
Well, it's Amtrak.
No. It needs to be better and faster.
So the thing is with trains, so say you have like a train from here to Omaha, right? So you're on your Omaha Express and you get to Omaha, but then the problem is no one wants to be in Omaha. You're going to your parents' house, which are 25 miles north of Omaha.
Yeah.
How do you get...
No, that's a good point.
The key is if...
Horses. We bring back the Wild
So
West.
Mary wants to go back to 1840 is what I'm hearing.
1840.
I just want to rob a bank. Just one time. I want to
Really
feel
what
the
it comes
thrill
down to.
But it's like the last great invention was a transcontinental railroad.
for robbing banks.
You'd be such a fun... You would rob a bank with like an old sack with a giant dollar sign
She
on it.
absolutely would.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah, she
the
absolutely
raccoon
would. She'd
nest.
get all dressed up for it, too.
And if we were in 1840, no, but they didn't have DNA testing. So you could be like, my name is Mary Lee, and I just robbed your bank. And then you'd run off. Yeah. And they'd never be able to catch you.
No.
Because you'd take your horse back to the Omaha Express and you'd get out of there.
Yeah.
The reason that there were so few incarcerations is because horses don't have license plates.
Oh, this is true.
That's probably the reason.
That's why. When you think about it, cars are just horses with license plates. Okay. On the flip side, what makes a good driver? Like, what's when you're in a car with somebody, aside from you don't really notice?
I could not have described it better than the videography thing. I think that was
Yeah,
really good.
that was beautiful.
I mean, I think that to go from like a good to a great driver there is like a sense of awareness of not what's currently happening, but what could happen.
Yeah,
Yes.
the anticipation.
Looking not only at the car in front of you, but the car in front of them as
yeah,
well.
and the car behind you.
Yes, yeah, that I think that takes it to the next level. And then like the really good drivers are like the things that you guys did in Bridgestone, where like you have honed that skill well enough where like in an emergency situation, you're 100% in control and finding like exit pathways.
So it's funny you mentioned Bridgestone because say 7 years ago, before I knew these ICE tactics, I was driving a RAV4.
And she had stopped at the end of the merge lane.
No, it was very icy. I was in Black Forest in Colorado, and it was not my current RAV4. It was a different RAV4. It was like a little green one. His name was Toad. And that's part of the exposition of the story.
Okay.
So I'm driving and there's this there's this right turn up ahead, and I'm just like excited because I'm going to my aunt's house. I'm excited to see my aunt, whatnot. To give you I could have kept going straight, or there was a bend in the road to the right, and then there was a stop sign kind of in that curve, right? So I turned right, and what happened was understeer.
Oh.
So I started not turning at all. But then the backside of my car started doing this. And so then I tried to overcorrect it. And then I nosedived into the stop sign. So now my rear tires are kind of in the air. My front bumper is dented and the stop sign's in like the side of the car.
Oh no.
And to this day, that stop sign is tilted. it's like kind of diagonal. And so I got out of the car. I was like, no, I'm fine. Nobody's hurt. It's fine. But my car was deeply stuck. So I was like, I went to the front and I tried to like push it out. And then I just stood on the corner like a salesman and I just like waved at the next car. thank God it was just like this lovely older couple. They were probably like in their 50s. And the guy got out and he's like, oh my God, are you okay? It's like, I'm great, but can you help me push this out of this ditch?
Wow.
And he was like, yeah, of course. And so we pushed it out together. And then
You guys got it.
yeah. And then I
my
said, thank
Lord.
you. And then so now whenever I pass that stop sign,
It's still like at an
it's
angle.
still tilted. It's like it's not famous at all, but it's famous in my brain.
Yeah.
So if you ever go to Black Forest in Colorado,
I'll check it out.
yeah, and
I'm
you see
looking
it,
for a
and
tilted
you-
stop sign.
Yeah, it's like almost sideways.
So like being a member of the 4-wheel drive community, I have like that rope, the winch on the front of my car, so I can pull things out. And like I used to spend a lot of time. I thought it was always really cool, like on really snowy days, to go like pull people out that were stuck. The problem is, it's like people would do such, in my opinion, silly things when that happened that I stopped doing because I'm like, I'm going to really break something.
When you offered to help, they would do
Yes.
silly things.
Yes. Like people are very rational until they get stuck, and then like their brains just go berserk.
Oh wow.
So like this one person I was pulling out, their Lincoln was stuck on the side of the road. It was like an MKC, like a
Okay.
newer Lincoln. Yeah, they were just stuck in a snowbank. So I got the winch off my Jeep and I hooked it up to the tow hook on this MKC and started pulling. And this person was backing up. I'm like, so just keep it in reverse and like just give it a little bit of gas. So like a little bit of gas. So they're like backing up. They get out of the snowbank. I'm like, great, out. Then they just keep going and they keep going
No.
and they push harder and then they
No.
backed into the front of my car. And I'm like, what are you doing?
That's literally biting the hand that feeds you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But stuff like that happens all the time.
Weird.
All the time. Like I was just pushing one of our neighbors into the driveway because they have like this minivan and it was a lot of snow and they couldn't get in. And I'm like, so all you have to do is like stay on the gas. And then when you get unstuck, you're good. I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, stay on the gas. And when you get unstuck, just keep going into your parking spot. And I looked at him, I'm like, but don't stop. Because if you stop, it's going to be a problem. So like the few of us like we're pushing, he like gets going. And then the second he starts moving, he like hits the brake. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I got worried. I'm like,
About what?
about what? You're in like a field. So stuff like that is the reason
Interesting.
I had to stop.
I wonder if these people did silly things because you decided to be the winch Superman. And they're like, I've never met him before. This is a
Like,
big
it's a
deal.
new concept.
And so like they just felt like they were in the presence of like a superhero.
I also think part of it is you now have more driving ability than I think 99% of Americans. Like that class you took at Bridgestone has propelled you so far beyond what most people can do. So like in most of Europe, what you did here where you're like drifting and sliding and learning to correct skids,
Yeah.
that's like basic knowledge and driving tests that you have to prove you can do before you can get a license. But here, like if you get involved in that situation, most people don't know how to deal with it. And then you end up with whoopsies and then backing into people with winches.
Yeah. That's crazy that he just was he apologetic?
He was, and luckily, like nothing was damaged. But like he like got unstuck, and I like honked. I'm like, "You're good," and he just kept going.
Oh,
He
was
just-
he like an older man?
He was like probably like early 60s, so not
Okay,
that
not
old.
like still like mid.
You should know better.
Life.
Mhm. But when it comes to like recoveries like that, that happens all the time.
Weird.
And the other problem is like a lot of cars. I would love to help more, but a lot of new cars. This is dumb. This is one of the grind my gears to talk about. They don't have places to tow your car from. Do you know that?
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
So most new cars have all this like fancy plastic and like shiny stuff, but there's no like hook. So what do you hook onto? You could hook onto a wheel and then damage the suspension.
What if somebody sits in the back seat and holds on to it with their hands?
There you go. What if you hook it onto the mirror?
What if you reach it through the car and hook it to the steering wheel?
But it's like, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna open up the trunk and then I'm gonna brace with my legs.
I would love to see Mary pulls people out.
It would be like a strength of character and also physical strength.
Mary's be like, well, there's no hook. So what if we just wrap the rope around the car?
Just hold on to it.
I'll double knot it. You go.
We're not gonna use any hooks. We're going back to knots. Now,
crazy.
Jen, is there anything else you have we want to say about good versus bad drivers?
I always liked when you can come to a stop and not feel the car back.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what that's
Just a
called?
very gliding.
It's called a limo stop.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's something I always aim
From your
for.
limo driving days?
In chauffeur school, I haven't taken one. Yes, back
In my chauffeur class.
in my chauffeur class.
As one takes.
It's a real thing, actually. Did you know that?
Yeah, of course
There's
you
like
would
a
know
Rolls
that.
Royce certified chauffeur class you can take.
Interesting.
So, for example, like you know how you open a door handle?
Is it No, actually, I never took a class. I don't know. Now I'm second guessing everything.
That's obvious.
That's obvious.
You never grab a door handle. You stick your hand in.
Use your foot.
No. You
lick it first.
You put your hand in the lever and then you pull.
Like you don't bend your fingers at all?
Genuinely, yeah. You are never supposed to touch the outside of the door handle because if it's like dirty at all,
why don't you just like pull your...
Could you imagine a chauffeur just being like, hold on, man.
My side suit. Spit on it.
I didn't know that. That's really interesting. Kind of like way too haughty.
Haughty, yeah. And that's a big deal in chauffeur school, apparently, is the limo stop where like before your car comes to complete stop, you let off the brake.
Do you think that's easier for limos to do because they're so long?
No.
Okay.
End of story.
There's the answer.
Have you ever done that, Mary, where you like do like a really gentle stop?
Stops.
I actually sometimes am scared driving with you, not because your stops are hard, but because you don't start braking until way after I would start braking.
Really?
Yeah, and you always stop on time. Like we've never rear-ended anybody. But like if like
that's good. Every time I get in the car with you, you're rear-ending someone.
If this is the car, right, and you're here, you start braking like here.
Interesting. I didn't know that about myself.
Yeah. And you did that in the Tesla the other day, and I was like, well, it's nice being alive.
Case knows someone apparently that doesn't change their driving behavior at all when it gets snowy.
Is it Case himself? Oh, your sweet girlfriend.
Yeah.
Well, that takes a level of confidence.
By the way, my wife, Morgan.
Yes.
She has been driving the electric car exclusively in one pedal mode.
Slay.
She's loving it.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
do
really
love
cool.
the e-pedal.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I'm in a bad mood, I turn it off.
Why?
Because it puts me in a worse mood. I have to be in a good mood to use the e-pedal.
Interesting. Now, Morgan, I'm excited to say, is a very good driver.
Yes, she is.
She just does one thing, which is very funny.
What?
She likes to be going the speed limit. So she doesn't like to be stopped or accelerating. So she gets in the car and she accelerates hard up into the speed limit and then drives perfectly at the speed limit.
That's hilarious.
And like stopping and turning, she's perfect. But like that's the one thing about her is she likes to be doing the speed limit. Would that drive you crazy, Jen?
That would drive me nuts. Like I'm not that I'm like a speed demon, but if the speed limit's 45 and someone's going 45 or even 46, I'm like, come on.
So it's not the acceleration thing.
on.
It's the speed limit
It's the speed limit. Like, and I don't know what it is, but like if you're going 35 and a 40, I'm like physically ill. I'm like, I feel
you projectile vomit.
I feel like my body hurts.
It's a really visceral reaction to a speed limit.
I'm like, I'm physically uncomfortable.
You hate that much.
So much.
People
Really?
who drive in Fort Collins, which is just north of Boulder, are very they adhere to the speed limit very well.
My kind of people.
Like there's very few people who speed in Fort Collins, and it's kind of a blessing and a curse because you're like, okay, I feel safe, but also move, just go a little faster. Like when the whole highway's going 20 over together, and you feel like we're doing something.
We're making moves over here.
And it feels like a collective
This is
effort.
democracy in action.
That feels kind of good.
Yes,
Who
it
are they
does
going to
feel
pull
good.
over? All of us?
Can't get everyone.
Yeah.
That's
But
really
it's
good.
different. It's obviously different.
So you get physically ill.
I feel like there are times where I've noticed like if it's like 32 miles an hour, if the speed limit's 30, I'm fine. But if the speed limit's like 40, 45, I'm like, I feel bad. Like I feel physically bad.
You've hit that very well when
What
we've been
about
in the car together.
75?
Oh, that's fine.
But so like if the speed limit's 75 and they're doing 75, is that fine? Or you want them to do an 80?
that's fine.
Okay.
No, that's
Okay,
fine.
she doesn't get ill when they're like following the law.
I've noticed more than one time when it's like 32 miles an hour and the speed limit's like 40 or 45. I feel
if
like
you're going
rage.
32 and a 45,
I feel the rage.
That's me and my
crazy.
diesel Mercedes always. I'm just doing the best I can.
You're flooring it.
How about up by 70 when the speed limit's 65, but people are doing 80?
See, I'm also a big proponent of unnecessary risk. I don't like unnecessary risk.
You're a big proponent of unnecessary risk, is what you just said.
So we're gonna rewind that.
I was like, this is about to be really interesting to hear where this goes.
I always think about things that have an unnecessary risk.
Okay.
So
you're not a proponent.
Yes,
of
correct.
unnecessary
I absolutely lied to you.
She has one sister.
That's so funny.
I always think about like the huge accidents that cause pileups and huge delays on I-70. And the last thing I want is to be a cause for that.
Yeah.
So
smart.
I will go the speed limit all day on
Yeah.
I-70. If anything, I will be in the slow lane.
You're thinking 7 steps ahead.
Okay,
Yes.
so if someone's doing 25 and a 25, you're good with.
Yes.
If someone's doing 40 and a 45, projectile vomit.
No.
No,
it's
32 and a 45.
32 and a 45.
Which honestly is fair. I think I will join her the next time that happens.
I feel like I'm so upset right now.
Yeah.
But 45 and a 45, I'm like, whatever, but like let me get out of the way.
So something I think is interesting is speed limits have not gotten faster through the decades.
yeah, that's very true.
You know, I don't think that's interesting. So like back in the day, initially speed limits were designed primarily to keep people safe, right? But it's because cars were very limited in how fast they could safely operate. Like you've been in that Model T. Imagine doing 55 in that Model T.
Terrifying.
Dead, right? So then speed limits reached a point where like 75 in like the 60s, right? And 70s was the norm. And then in the 80s, it went down to 55 to save gas. Did you know this? There's a 55 mile an hour speed limit. But now it's 75 again for most places in the US. Why isn't it getting faster? Like if cars can comfortably do 100, why is the speed limit still 75?
So cars have evolved, but the human body has
Right.
not.
Good point.
The human body has not. And, you know, whereas alternatively, the Autobahn, you can go as fast as you want. However, it takes a lot more in order for you to even get your license in Germany.
Yeah, we're talking about that.
And here if you can walk and see, you can get your license.
Yeah, I think just because technology is evolving, if technology evolves too fast, then we're gonna fall behind it. Like that's how I feel about like LEDs. Like my eyeballs have not adjusted to see your. Like I'm glad you can see the road, but would you like to see like how? I don't know where I was going with that.
I understand the gist.
Do you want to get in a head-on collision right now? Because I'll end this for both of us.
I feel you.
You'll look death in the eye.
Look, cars have become so much more advanced. I think the license is a good idea. I think that there should be different levels of speed limits based on your license.
That's
How
good.
about that?
How on earth would you enforce that from the outside?
Okay, hear me out.
I'm trying.
You have your RAV4, right? You've completed your basic driver's license like you have now. You're a green driver's license.
A green plate.
There's a green license plate on your car. So you have to stick to a 75 mile an hour speed limit.
Do you want more regulation on the road?
Well, here's the thing though. Jen's done more driver training. She's done the Bridgestone driving school. She's done more okay. You have as well. Hypothetical. But Jen has also done like maybe 10 hours of classroom time and more behind the wheel time. She's got a blue plate. She can do 90.
Right. Are there lanes?
Yeah. So the only way this works, like in Germany, is you have to have lane discipline. So in Germany, the reason the Autobahn works is everyone's in the right lane unless they're passing, and then they're immediately back in the right lane.
Yeah. See, I don't think people would adhere
There's
to
a lot
that.
of respect to the rules of the road in Germany.
Yeah.
And then I have had 3 DUIs, so I have a purple plate, and I can't drive more than 30.
30
miles an hour.
You're going to be physically ill like
that's
me.
actually a really good punishment. If you had 3 DUIs and you weren't allowed to go over 30, like imagine a cross-country road trip
What if it
at
was
30
like,
miles per
what
hour.
if it restricted your, kind of like if you do get a DUI and you have to have a breathalyzer, right? What if it just restricted your speed
Well,
limit?
now we're getting into like Black Mirror territory where like there's
that's what we're talking about.
So there are already cars that you have to breathalyze to start. Did you know that?
I
if you
did
have
know
a
that.
DUI?
Yeah, I have stories about that also.
But for the record, I have no DUI, so it'd be terrible. But Case, I want you to look up the French car called the Sol S-A-N-S Permis.
I have a question.
S-A-N-S permit.
With breathalyzers, what's stopping somebody from using a sober person to open their car for them?
Nothing
Yeah.
other than the fact that they can't restart their car. Well, also,
Oh dear.
So this is a real thing in France. So there's a category of car called it's like voiture sans permis.
Really
and
good.
it means a car without license. And if you get a DUI in France, you lose your license, but you can still drive these little bubble cars that only go like 28 miles an hour.
so it's like getting a little scooter.
Or a little golf cart.
You can also drive one of these if you are if you're under like 15. So if you're like 14 to 16, you can drive a voiture sans permis.
Wow.
Look
more
at
you
that.
know.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
So that should be the requirement here as well. Yeah, you can only do 28.
Love that idea.
The only thing is that you're at such a high risk if you're driving on the highway at 20 miles per hour.
You don't get to take highways anymore.
Good one, Jen. And
right.
also, you put everybody else at risk. So now you get to die.
Yeah.
So now you get to die.
Yeah.
Oh no.
That's the most French thing I've ever seen. Look at that well-dressed guy in that blue car smoking.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is amazing.
That is just
The
so
very
fun.
French.
Constructeur limousine
La
Châtenay
mode
ici.
ici.
Ici. So Mary,
Yes.
I heard you have some trivia for us.
Oh my God, do I ever. Guys,
So Jen got this trivia book. Was it your mom that gave it
My
to you?
mom. Shout out
It's-
to my mom. She gave me a trivia book for cars.
thank you, Jen's mom.
Did your mom also bring your sister into the world?
She did. And well
You're never
before
living
I
that
was ever
down.
born.
So,
So sorry, Melissa.
So here's your thing. Your mom got you this amazing trivia book, and we were kind of glancing at it. And like the early trivia questions were like, oh, what are the colors on the BMW roundel? We got it. And then it was like the 1968 Camaro 1LE had what displacement of engine?
Yeah, I was like, what, excuse me?
So I'm really curious to see what Mary has done.
okay, I do have trivia for you.
Beautiful.
25 questions per use.
More and more every time.
So what, guys?
Exam.
Well,
Mary's like, I had just 89 questions.
Next one is going to be like 48 questions.
put down your pencils.
ACT in here.
So it actually is pretty hard to find like pre-written trivia questions. So what I've started doing is I've just started like
Making it
reading.
up. Oh.
No, I've just started.
What's
None of
Mary's
these are
favorite
real.
car?
What are the names and ages of all of my sisters?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That is a good one. No, what I've started doing is I've started just like reading articles about cars, and then I've just been making trivia questions out of them.
This is how we trick Mary into learning about cars.
She's becoming more car and less ish.
And it's like more fun because I'm like, I know the answers, and then you guys don't. So, well,
This
you
will be interesting, Tommy.
You probably will. Okay. Honor, Scouts honor. Raise your hand if you have it.
Oh.
The answer.
She just
Put your hands on the Bible.
Oh, you were just ready. You were like, okay, what am I
He's like,
agreeing
I'm
to?
swearing
I
for
thought we were
anything.
swearing. I saw like an oath, like we're going to cheat or something.
Okay, ready? Number one. How much does the average auto repair cost?
Oh.
Average.
Do you want to go first? Or you want me to go
Average.
first?
I'm going to say like $400.
Oh, I'm going to say 1,700.
So average.
Average. I think it's high.
You think it's, but there's also, does that include like oil changes? Well, that's maintenance, not repair.
I'm sticking 1,700.
Is that final answer?
What are you thinking, Jen? Final answer?
I think it's lower. I'm sticking 400.
Jen is much closer. It's
Wow.
$305.55.
Oh, okay.
What we've learned here is I'm vastly overpaying for car repair.
Tommy's like, what is it? 1,500? That's about average.
Every time I get my oil change, it's $1,200. I don't know what the problem
Paying
is.
$100 for
Be
premium
honest with
air.
me, guys. Can you see this paper?
No, I
from
can't.
Where you guys are
No.
sitting? You promise?
I promise.
Okay.
Pinky swear.
Pinky swear. How many gallons of fuel does traffic congestion waste every year?
God, and this train over here. Jesus heck.
Like, why are trains better than cars?
I'm going to say 3.6 million gallons.
3.6, that's very specific. I'm going to go vastly different. I'm going to say 9.25 million gallons.
You said 6 million. You said
I said 3.6 million.
3.6. Okay, so technically Jen is closer. It's 3 billion gallons.
Oh my God.
So by a hair.
By a hair.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, number 3. Volvo is Latin for what?
It is Latin for goddess.
Okay.
Safety.
Whoa. Why did you say that like that? Safety.
They're so safe. They're known for safety.
Do a little
I have no
a
idea.
Volvo commercial. It's so safe. No, it's Latin for I roll.
Interesting.
Not like eye roll.
No, like I, the pronoun I.
Most sarcastic vehicle out
I
there.
roll.
There's just like a Mercedes. You're like, oh,
Volvo.
Volvo. That's cool.
Yeah.
That is
Like,
neat.
no one got that.
No.
Okay. Who invented the windshield wiper?
Oh man, where are you finding this crap?
I told you I'm reading.
I'm going to say Cadillac.
Okay, I'm looking for a name.
Mr. Cadillac.
No, okay, listen. Also in what year? So whoever's closer to the year, I'll get.
Winston Wiper in 1904.
I'm saying
It's gotta be it, right? It's gotta be it.
I thought of a different kind of wipe, but yes.
I'm gonna say what was that guy's name? It was very German. Like very German.
Franz.
Hans Zimmer.
We shouldn't go more German than that. That's as German as it gets. I'm going to say it was Gottlieb Daimler. That was his name.
Oh, Gottlieb.
Dang.
Yeah.
In 1907.
You're going Mercedes.
Dang. Okay. Jen was closer with the year. It was 1903.
Oh,
She
nice.
said 1904. And her name, Mary Anderson.
Wow.
Wow. God.
And
Okay.
she created it on November 10th in 1903 because she noticed a trolley driver constantly wiping snow from the windshield. And she was like, I should fix that probably.
Leave it to a woman to come up with an actually good invention.
Yeah, for
Men are
real.
just crashing into stuff left and
Men
right.
were just like, get your arm out there.
They're like, there is no possible solution.
So she was awarded a patent for the device.
Nice.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah. Okay, this one will be fun for you, Tommy. In what key do most cars honk in?
I'm going to say E minor.
Okay.
B flat.
B flat. What is B flat? Can you sing us a B flat?
Ba, ba.
It doesn't sound like a horn to me.
Sorry, it's an octave. It's ba, ba.
Okay, that's enough. It's F.
I was closer with E minor.
Yeah, so I'll give you a
Okay.
point. Tommy is on the
closer.
board. It's 3-1.
F
Jen.
major? That
F.
can't be.
It's just F. It didn't tell me minor and
F.
major. So, okay.
Which is the word you say too when you're using your horn. Oh, I
What?
wonder.
Oh,
The
yeah.
F word.
The F word.
Oh, that's smart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In 2020, the longest car parade occurred when Subarus got together around a 2-mile course.
Do you know this?
How many cars were a part of it?
Oh. Subarus, I'm going to say 13 of them made it to the parade. No, I'm going to say the 3,000.
Okay.
Jen's like 3,001.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
That's a lot of love.
1,500.
Okay. Jen is right again.
How?
It's 1,751.
Wow.
So you're really close. Nice. Well done, Jen.
nice.
Good at
Jen,
guessing.
you're doing good today.
Okay.
Guessing.
What is the best-selling car of all time?
That's the Corolla, isn't it?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
That's right.
You knew that.
I did know that.
You let me
Yeah.
have that. What a gent.
What a gent indeed. Yes, as of 2023, Corolla has sold over 50 million units worldwide.
That's a lot of cars.
That's a lot of cars.
Imagine all those in a parade.
50 million cars in one parade. What percentage of Americans know how to drive a stick shift? And consequently, what percentage of manufactured cars in the US are manual?
Well, they're both very sad answers. I'll tell you that. It's got to be low.
You go first on this one.
I'm going to say like 10% of the nation and like 5% of cars.
I'm going to say 18% of the nation knows how to drive, but like 2.7% of cars are stick shift or something.
Okay, so I'm going to give you both a point for that because it's 15% know how to drive it. She said
I said 10. I was low.
10, so you were closer to that one,
18.
but it's 5%
It is 5%.
Oh.
of manufactured
They're
cars are manual.
Both very sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah, I feel like I still lost.
What percentage of Americans know how to drive a Model T?
Oh.
Well, let's
One.
take a poll.
far.
4 of us in this room know, so 100% of Americans.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty good. Good job, Americans.
Well done.
Wow.
All right, Henry Ford would be proud.
Not
Okay.
something to be proud of.
What was the last vehicle to offer a cassette tape player?
Oh,
and
I
in
got
what
this.
year?
No idea.
Take a guess.
In what year?
What was the last vehicle to offer a cassette tape player and in what year?
I'm guessing a year of like 2013. And car.
Do you know this one, Case? Okay, so Jen, I'll give you a hint. It's a brand you associate with old people.
Well, I'm thinking of like a Cadillac DeVille.
No.
My first thought was
That's
also
old.
Cadillac.
That's old.
Can I say it?
Yeah.
So I think it's a Lexus SC430.
That's a good guess.
That's gotta be it.
The one that I read was the Ford Crown Victoria.
Oh, Crown Vic.
Oh,
Man, Crown Vics are awesome.
I've read both.
What
Actually, I
year?
haven't read Crown Vic,
What-
but I'll believe. So I'm
what-
going to say 2012. I think it was the last year.
Okay, so you get that point. It was 2011.
Okay.
What was the one you said?
The Lexus SC430. I'm pretty sure Someone will verify that in the comments, but I think it was the SC430 because the last car to offer a CD player now is also a Lexus.
Huh.
Really?
Why do they have trouble
just
letting go?
So behind.
They're bought by old people.
Oh.
Genuinely, like the SC430 was
sad.
an old person car, so it had a cassette deck.
Dude, Bluetooth confuses me sometimes, so I can't imagine as an old person. Like, I just want to pop in my CD player.
Were they still rocking 8 tracks in like 2000s?
Maybe.
Is that not the worst looking car you've ever
It's
seen?
so bubbly.
rough.
That was designed after a yacht from the French Riviera. Clearly, they'd never seen one, but that's what they were. That's what they had modeled it at.
Case, can you look up a Ford Crown Victoria?
It's like
It's
old
a cop
cop cars.
car.
Crown Victoria.
Did
It made
you-
sense to
Old
have a-
Crown
Did
Vic.
you ever see like any movie?
Oh, yeah. I
Any
see it.
movie
Yeah,
ever?
That's the cop car.
That's the,
I'm
it's
thinking
the one
of,
they're always crashing.
You know the Jumanji movie with Robin Williams?
And Jack Black?
No, that's
so different,
No.
but so close.
Robin Williams.
He was in Jumanji,
The
Jack
original
Black.
Jumanji.
Oh.
Come
Robin
on. That is a disgrace.
Was Jack Black not in Jumanji?
He was in the newer one.
but not with Robin Williams.
Which, don't get me wrong, love Jack Black. She's looked Jack Black in the eye before.
Oh,
Did you sit on him just like you sat on Michael Jordan?
Wildly misinterpreting that story.
We really need to clarify what he's
Wind that one a
talking
little
about. No, I was passing him in Denver and there was like no one else on the street. So I think that's why he gave me a little extra bit of a look. And as I'm walking towards him, I see a figure that looks just like Jack Black and he's got 2 huge like
not a hard
bodyguards
figure to
behind him.
miss.
Yeah. And as I get closer, I'm like, that is Jack Black. And he looked at me and he gave me one of his Jack Black faces. Like,
What is this come to God moment where he's just like haloed walking down
it was
the street?
incredible. I was walking into a comedy show at Ball Arena and he was leaving, I'm guessing, said comedy show.
I love that.
It was amazing.
That's really
But no,
cool.
I did not sit on Jack Black.
But you did
Nor
sit
did I
Michael
sit
Jordan.
on Michael Jordan.
No, she sat in Michael
I sat-
Jordan's car.
His car.
Where his butt was.
Wow, I would love to play a game of telephone with Tommy.
Really bad.
All of life is a game of telephone with Tommy if you tell him anything.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, where does Volvo's turn signal sound come from?
The
What?
The turn signal sound?
Yeah, where do they get it from?
I'm going to say it comes from the dashboard.
No, like
Yes.
no. Where does the sound like originate? They like recorded something and that became the sound.
I'm trying to remember what it sounds like. I think it's like
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That was pretty good.
I'm going to say
It's like a barometer.
that's
not a
one.
barometer.
That's a metronome.
Yeah, that word.
You think it comes from a metronome?
No, I think it. What did they do in Sweden? I think right before they slaughter a horse for their meatballs at IKEA, as the gate comes down to the guillotine
You think they're slaughtering horses with guillotines in Sweden?
for IKEA meatballs. Yeah, I think that's what's going
In
on.
2025.
No, I think it's like it comes from like a snare drum or something dumb.
I'm going to give the point to Tommy because you mentioned Sweden.
You mentioned horse guillotine.
It comes from the sound of branches being broken in the Swedish forest.
It's the most Swedish thing I've ever
And
heard.
it took about 300 different branches to find the perfect sound.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like the Rivian lock. Have you heard that?
Yeah, it's a little chirp.
It's a blue jay from like Yosemite.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. Uh-oh.
Only 25 more questions to go, Jen.
Guys,
What?
I didn't write an answer for this one.
Okay, well-
let's see if we know.
I think I remember it, though.
The worst.
This is the worst round of trivia I've ever seen.
Shut up. Okay. How much of a car's lifetime does it spend parked?
Oh,
Most of it.
I'm going to say 93%.
I'm going 95%.
Cool. So what I think it was 90, but Case, can you verify, please? How much of a car's lifetime
Most of it.
does it spend parked?
Average cost of a crown. Did you see that was one of the suggested? Uh-huh.
It is
95.
95. Jen wins.
The verification process here is abysmal.
Okay, to be fair, I've only forgotten to write 2 answers.
Okay.
Are there more people or cars in LA?
Oh, more people. No, that's
I
a
don't
trick
know.
question.
I think there's more cars.
He's just looking at them.
Case doesn't
Did
trust
you
me
not
anymore.
have that answer either?
Yeah, that was the other one. Yep.
Oh, there's more cars.
Hey.
Yeah, I did write that
Yeah,
down.
everyone's got like a
Wow.
bunch of different cars in LA.
That's unreal. Oh.
What? No, it says in Los Angeles there are more cars than inhabitants. Don't trust the AI overview. Come on. Listen to Quippo Quiz.
Quippo Quiz. We're going to go with Quippo Quiz.
Yeah, I'm not listening to AI.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, me.
The AI overview is not accurate all the time.
You see, if we listen to AI, we may or may not have gotten the right answer. I know.
Indeed.
Google, questions are so hard. You've broken Google.
Okay, guys. When were wheels invented?
Oh my God. What kind of question is this?
Like the wheel or car wheels?
Car wheels and the wheel?
The wheel.
That's like a long time ago.
What's
Yeah.
your guess, Jen? What do you think wheels were invented?
That's like BC time.
That's well, you got to give a BC date.
I'm going to say 100 BC.
No.
Right, Tommy? What's your answer there?
What's your affirmative answer?
Are we considering the axle a key part of the wheel?
I
You know
don't
what?
know.
I'm going to say 230 AD.
Okay, Jen was closer. It was 3500 BC
Wow.
in Mesopotamia.
That's, wow. Okay.
But
Interesting.
surprisingly, no one knows how they were invented. They don't have any stones.
No
on
one
that.
wrote it down.
Of course, if you know how the wheel was invented, please let me know.
This is all allegedly.
I was there.
You're not that old.
I should have put my disclaimer of like these could be wrong. Like they could have been older information. They could have changed.
Is the wheel different than the roller? Because you know, like how they rolled the bricks up the pyramids.
I'm guessing that if it's 3500 BC, they're just talking about something that was circular.
So they found a circle.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
like the wheel.
So are we assuming that the invention of the wheel is the same as the invention of the circle?
No.
You're thinking that they made a 5-star spoked wheel in 3500 BC?
No, I was just demonstrating what I think of when I think of the wheel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. How many pounds of copper wire does the average American car contain?
Oh my God. 27.
15 pounds.
Okay, Tommy's closer. It's 55.
Wow,
Oh,
that's a lot of weight.
All right. What is the most stolen car in the history of the United States?
Oh, I think, okay, go for it.
Kia's had a pretty bad round recently.
I'm going to say Honda Accord.
It was the 1994 Honda Accord.
Wow,
Thanks.
good one.
Stole a few of those back in my day.
All right. When you're out of range of the car itself, how many times do you need to press a car's remote button before the remote becomes dysfunctional and loses sync with the car?
I love that someone tried this. Dysfunctional?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 280 times.
Okay.
I love how you don't scoot closer to the car. You just keep clicking it until you break it. Someone had to figure that out.
Sometimes that's the method.
Have you done that thing where you you guess first.
I'm going to guess 200 times.
Dumb guess. What is it?
Don't
guess. Idiot.
You're closer. It's 256 times.
Wow.
pretty close.
Yeah,
Wow,
pretty
you were close.
So have you ever seen that thing where like you're too far from your car to unlock it, so you put it on your chin?
I was going to do that, but I thought that one was too well known.
Listen, is that real?
That's
'Cause
according
I've
to the
heard
internet.
it's dumb or wrong.
Dead and dumb and wrong.
I heard it's wrong. But then with Perry the other day, it wouldn't work, so I put it on my chin and it worked. Which might be
Wow.
confirmation bias. but-
Interesting. Okay. What do British traffic police carry among their equipment to comfort children after a collision?
Oh, it's one of those like
I would think like a little. What? What did I do?
I would think like
I would think like a. I
I
immediately started thinking I was talking to a kid, so I raised my voice.
I did a classic man thing. I didn't listen to the rest of the question. I didn't hear the children thing. So I was going to say it was a beating stick.
Oh no.
They don't carry guns. They carry the beat stick.
I'm gonna guess
Feeling
like a
bad, little Timmy.
That can make you feel way worse. I'm going to
terrible.
say
I think like a little plush toy.
maybe a Xanax.
Jen, correct. A teddy bear.
Hey, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
She's whooping you.
That's a Zanny for the kids.
Jen has 10, Tommy has 7, so actually not as bad. What percentage of car owners never wash their car?
Oh, I hope I believe in humanity more than this, but I'm gonna guess like 10%.
I'm going to guess 26%.
16%.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
good one, Jen.
Yeah, but still gross. Let's wash your car.
In which city is it most expensive to park a car?
In the US or the
Globally.
world?
Globally.
Oh. I would assume it has to be something that's really somewhere that's really packed.
Correct. I'm going to say Hong Kong.
I'm gonna say, I would think it's somewhere in like Britain. What's it, London?
Okay. The answer is London.
Oh,
That was great.
Hey, Hong Kong was a good idea, though. I was gonna think maybe Dubai or something. Okay, that's
Good. That was
Really good.
Good
That was
job.
really
wow.
educated
Okay,
guess.
thank you guys.
How many cars are housed in the Smithsonian?
Oh, not enough.
What an old man answer.
Not enough, Sonny. It's true. We need more of them in there.
Really needed this rain.
I'm going to say 14.
20.
It's 80.
Oh.
Way off.
Good job, Jen.
That was
Jen's really doing good.
Samsonite. It was way off.
For the record, I'm giving the point to the person who's closest.
We're both way off. We got 3.6 million. It was 3 billion.
Okay. What is the highest mileage ever recorded on a person's personal vehicle?
It might be Tommy's Mercedes.
It's a guy named Gordon, I think, with a Volvo P1800 who drove like 3.2 million. Is that right?
Million?
Yeah.
3.2 million?
Yeah. Case, look it up.
No. That is correct. It was Irvin Gordon in a 1966 Volvo.
Yeah. It's like 3.2 million
Well, what's your
miles.
answer?
Well, here's the problem.
Oh, Mary.
I wrote down his daily drive, his daily basis would cover 100,000 miles per year.
At 3.04 million miles.
Dang.
Nice work,
Good job,
Tommy.
Tommy.
I knew it was something Gordon. Yeah.
But isn't that
that's pretty
crazy? It said his total mileage is equivalent to nearly 120 complete circumnavigations of the planet.
cool. Jeez. Wow. Yeah, he
And
just
such a
died.
cool car, too.
Yeah, but my problem with this is it's a very impressive feat. But like, if you replace the engine 4 times, is it still the original car?
It's like the ship theory.
What's the ship theory?
If it's like if you have a ship and you've replaced every single part, is it still the same ship? Were you the one who was talking to me about that?
Case knows. Oh yeah, his philosophy is definitely Case.
Yeah.
Wow, ship of Theseus. Yeah, that's an interesting.
I think is a completely different boat.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but here's the thing. For this Volvo with Gordon, was he replacing the exterior of the vehicle too? Or was
it's
it
a
just
different- It's a
the...
different thing. But the
Yeah.
engine is like the heart of the
Yeah,
car.
like he had to go through like a few different engines. Oh god, Case is looking up highest mileage Cummins.
Oh, God.
2.6 million.
Oh, it's nothing.
All right, we're going to keep going. That's pretty close. What is the highest fine ever paid for speeding?
I think it's like 2.4 million euros.
Oh, he's going euros.
Yeah, because you guess.
For speeding, I'm going to guess $100,000.
You guessed
Like 2 million euros.
2 million.
Yeah.
It was 656,000 euros.
Oh, okay. Where was it at? Do
It
you
was
have
in
the-
Sweden.
Yes.
Or no, I'm sorry, it was in Switzerland. And he was going 180 miles per hour in a 72 mile, or I guess it would have been kilometer.
Kilometer an hour.
And under Swiss laws, fines are determined by the speed and the wealth of the driver.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love
Isn't
that.
that interesting?
I
Interesting?
love that.
Uh-huh.
So you were close.
Yeah, give it to her. I was way off. Yeah, that's pretty interesting, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really like that theory.
And his Mercedes was impounded too.
Oh, bummer.
So, okay, we're almost done, guys. This is 23. There's
Oh
3 more.
We're still going.
Who invented cruise control?
Mr. Cruz.
Sir Tom Cruise.
I think.
Wilbur White.
Are we looking for a person again?
Yes.
The guessing of the person, Mary, is kind of tricky unless you know every person alive.
That's true, but I don't know what people know.
I'm going to say it was Caroline Warthall.
I appreciate that you're guessing a woman this time.
And
Yeah.
it was, do you need a year?
No, I don't have the year.
Okay.
I'm guessing Tom Cruise.
Cool. I'm not giving you a point to either one of you. His name was Ralph Teeter, and he was inspired to invent cruise control by his lawyer, who was apparently a very poor driver. Also, he was blind.
He was blind?
Yeah,
The lawyer or the guy?
the guy. So that's hilarious.
Be like, okay, we got a blind guy.
Yeah.
We need him going at the constant high rate of speed forever.
Okay. What? Oh. The world's first speeding ticket was issued in 1902. How fast was the driver going?
I think he was. You want to go first?
1902 weren't really going too fast. I guess he was going 40 miles an hour.
Oh, it was like 18 miles an hour or something, wasn't it?
45.
Oh, wow. In 1902? Is
Apparently.
that it?
One more. How many cars are produced every year?
16 million.
16? 16?
Yeah.
10 million.
Okay, Tommy's closer. 60 million.
Wow.
Oh, I'm thinking of U.S.
Which
production.
is 165,000 a day,
Mhm.
6,875 an hour, and 115 a minute.
That's a lot of cars.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
cars.
So that was a sweep, as they say in the athletic world.
Jen won 15. I won 9. That's rough.
It's rough.
But Jen, final topic of the day.
Yeah.
I heard you have something that grinds your gears.
Oh, do I ever, Tommy? Okay. I'm going to start it with this. Mary being the ish of the Car-ish podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
You typically don't know or care a whole lot about
She's like Mary. Mary grinds my gears.
So, okay, let's say you saw a Mercedes in front of you.
Yeah.
And it said S500 on one side and then AMG on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be upset about that? Would you care?
S500 AMG on the other side?
Mm-hmm.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
I would see that it's a Mercedes.
Okay.
And that's as far as I would think about it.
Tommy, what would go through your brain if you saw an S500 AMG?
I would think that person tried to up badge their car.
Correct. Because they don't make
Oh.
S500 AMGs. They make S55s. So any AMG is going to only have 2 numbers next to it, never 3. And what grinds my gears is not the fact that they just slap the badge on, but only people who know about AMGs and the fact that they're more, sporty or performance based are going to know that you are a lying liar.
Yeah.
So they're
And-
like kind of playing themselves.
Yes. And back at my hometown, there was this one S500 AMG that I would see all the time. And his license plate was Believe It.
Oh,
No,
my
sir, I will
goodness.
not.
Wow.
The audacity.
Wow.
So it's typically only the Benz people that are doing this that really grinds my gears. But when they're throwing AMG badges on something that is clearly not an AMG, and only the people who are going to know what an AMG is are going to know you're a lying liar.
Wow.
It drives me wild.
Good one.
That's a really good one.
Drives me wild.
I'll put it in
Posers.
words that you
Yes.
would understand.
I understood.
I don't think you did. So imagine someone gave you hummus that was branded as garlic hummus.
Mm-hmm.
No garlic.
No garlic.
Ugh.
I think you probably could have understand yours better.
I understood. They're posers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They think that they're doing something. They
Yeah.
think that they're tricking the masses.
Believe It.
Was it spelled like BULUV?
No, it's like
Believe. That's not
BLEVEIT or something. Believe. Ugh,
What grinds your
Gross.
gears this week, Mary?
Well, Jen and I went to San Diego this week.
we did.
I heard you ate the packaging of a muffin. Is that true? You didn't stop eating at the packaging. You just kept eating the muffin through the packaging.
No, it was a very fancy little quiche, and it had like muffin wrapping on it, and I didn't know how to eat it because the wrapping wasn't coming off. And let me be clear, I didn't just eat the whole wrapping. It's like I started eating it slowly and like putting my fork in it and peeling it off the wrapper slowly. By the time I got to the bottom, I lifted it up and it was like flat. I thought, I'm in the clear. This is just like the flat part of the quiche. And then I put it in. I was like, that might be laminate. That's probably paper.
Seeing out of the corner of my eye, just Mary struggling for something. I was just like, it's fine.
And so I was like kind of scanning the room for a trash can. I was like looking to see if anybody was looking. I was like, how can I get out of this? I was like, maybe I should just eat this paper. And so I ended up just like calmly reaching up and like taking it out of my mouth, putting it back on my plate. And then Jen and I are sitting there. Mind you, it is 7 a.m. So I'm like, we're sitting there and I just start going, and Jen's like, what? I was like, I just ate the paper on the bottom of this quiche.
We were crying.
Yeah.
Sounds like you ate a considerable amount.
It was like 2 quarters worth, maybe 4 quarters worth of paper. It was like a cute little quiche. Tasted very good.
And also,
Not the paper, the quiche.
mind you, a very high class facility that we're
Yeah,
at.
Jen goes, this just proves we don't belong here. So that's not what what was grinding my gears this week. It was the travel part of it. And what really grinds my gears, and this has always bothered me, but I was reminded of it.
Not enough trains.
So I think that we should have a transcontinental railroad. No, I'm just kidding. It's when people stand really close to the baggage claim carousel instead of just like stepping back and waiting for your bag to come out.
I love being close to the baggage claim.
You're one of those.
I like the thrill.
Tommy, you're the worst kind of person.
I love that. And you just, because then you know when your bag comes out, just.
You know when your bag comes out if you step, like how
He's
poor
awful.
is your eyesight?
I love it.
Awful, Mary.
And you can like sweep your finger down
Tommy,
the carousel.
I hate to say, whoa. I hate to say this, Tommy, but my opinion of you has changed this afternoon.
Even better than that, I like to stand at the edge when it comes out of the chute so I can just grab it. So
You're
like to
kidding, right?
No, I'm
You're being
not.
facetious.
No, in Japan they won't let you do that. They actually have like a gate.
I
so
wonder
you can't
why.
Stand there. I like to stand there and just. Oh.
I hope I never travel with you. That's
Do you hate?
terrible.
Why do you hate it?
Because what
You're
would
blocking
be way,
everyone
what would
else
be
from
way
seeing.
more efficient is everybody just stands like 5 feet back. When you see your bag, you walk up to it. You have all the elbow room in the world to like lift it off, and then you walk off. But instead, everybody's crowded shoulder to shoulder, like right at the carousel, and you don't have any room to grab
You
your
have to
bag.
like Red Rover your way in to
Yeah.
get your bag.
And so if people just stood back,
But then you have everybody standing back.
yeah, that's fine.
But then you'd feel dumb.
I never feel dumb when I am not shoulder to shoulder with a stranger. For the record. Also, this is a small one that I have. I don't like it when celebrities sit courtside. You don't deserve that
Okay.
seat. They're never
Very
watching
related.
Wow.
They're never watching the game.
Morgan said she doesn't want to sit courtside because you don't get a good view. Of
No,
the
it's a
game.
terrible view. And also like they're not watching the game. You think Rihanna cares about basketball? Rihanna, if you do, I'm sorry. But look,
Mary, she's not watching this.
Rihanna, if you're out there,
She's not watching this.
Carish. Anyway, that bothers me too. What grinds your gears, Tommy?
There's only one thing that grinds my gears, and that is what was it this week?
Stuttering.
It was yeah, that's right.
Speaking smoothly.
I hate when people have speech impediments. No, it's credit card readers at self car washes.
Oh.
They never work.
they don't.
They never. How
No.
can credit card readers work perfectly everywhere on the planet unless it's attached to a car wash and then you're like swiping it up?
Probably because it's getting like
because
doused with water all
well,
the
it's
time.
also taking your number every time you swipe it. It's like great, free money.
Maybe it's just because they don't typically have taps or what's the other way? Chip, like the chip. Are you swiping it every time?
Yes.
Yeah, they're archaic. That's an
I know.
archaic way to pay for something.
And then the second thing that grinds my gears, which is kind of an oxymoron because I like waiting for baggage right away, it's when people line up for the airplane like 25 minutes before the plane boards. Like we're
It's an
all going to the
oxymoron.
same place. Yeah, but it's not. Because I don't get the thrill of watching the bags come out and slam into the conveyor belt.
That's not thrilling. What kind of life do you live where that's thrilling to
When
you?
I was a kid, I was obsessed with like watching the little plates like kind of like fold and I thought it was really cool. And to this day, I kind of like being up close to the action.
the
And
action.
you're ruining other people's day. You're ruining my day at the airport.
Well, then you got to get next to me.
No.
We don't have enough human interaction in 2025. Might as well have some at the
I
conveyor
have
belt.
tons of human interaction. The TSA agent smiled at me and told me I had a nice smile. So
Well,
That's nice, I guess.
clearly a lie.
because everybody else was so grumpy, and I went up to him and I was like, "Hi, how you doing?" He goes, "You have a nice smile." I said, "Thanks."
Oh, that's
And
sweet.
then he was probably grumpy after that, but
And then she got in line 45 minutes early to the flight.
yeah, for sure.
and then they detained me.
Well, guys, that's been another perfectly informative episode of Car Witch, which was definitely fact checked.
If you do know that one of those was wrong, please let us know.
Yes. And what was last time you had a word for people to say if they got to the end of the podcast?
Oh yeah. Well, what was the most off the rails discussion we had today? What did we just talk about?
Baggage claim.
Baggage
claim.
claim. If you agree with Tommy,
You won't.
you won't.
If you're with Mary, type the word baggage.
Or if you just have an opinion on that,
Type the word baggage.
type the word baggage.
And also, if you like this podcast, give us an upvote. We now have 10 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts.
Nice.
Go us, guys.
Very fun.
And 9 of them are me. So we need a second
And I'm
person.
the other one.
To say, Mom, where are you at, man?
That's right.
That's awesome. No, thank you for listening. That's awesome.
That's it.
Bye.
All right, go home. Bye.